Welcome back, everyone, to my Master Your Marketing Masterclass. And in my hot seat today, I have Therese Skelly, and we're going to talk about some yummy marketing ideas and get all kinds of clarity. And she is a business coach as well and a mindset expert, which is my favorite. I love to talk about the inner stuff. So welcome to our episode today. How are you, Therese?
I'm good. I'm really excited. I have to share with everybody, I just got a new dog like less than 24 hours ago. So right now she's sleeping, but she might make an appearance. So
That's right. She may want to be the spotlight.
Who knows what's going to happen in the background? But for this minute, she's taking a nap. So,
24 hours. Wow. She's a new baby in your house. Very sweet.
Very sweet. Very new. Aww. It's been fun though. It's like, oh, I haven't had a puppy in so long. It's really fun. So
she's sleeping. So she's at home. So
that's a good.
That's a very good sign. Just
Thank
chilled
you.
out. How sweet. Yeah. Well, let's dive right in, Therese. I want to know more about you as a person. How did you get into this industry? Kind of give us the background of what led you to this play space.
You know, I kind of like telling my story, Carrie, because it's not the traditional, logical, linear, I'll make a plan. It really is, like when your soul goes, oh, sister, you're going in that direction. So I was a psychotherapist, and I always say, don't let that scare you unless I'm trying to date you, then you should be horribly afraid. But no, I was a psychotherapist. 2001, I moved into business coaching, life coaching, which is not a big jump. And then I went to one networking event and I got on their newsletter list. So in about 2004, there was an ad that said business coaches wanted. Here's what you have to know. I have a master's degree in counseling, a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and yes, I was a prison guard.
Wow.
Worked with drug addicts in treatment center, worked in all kinds of, but I never worked in corporate. I never read a business book. I used to think Excel literally was a phone company. I'd never seen a spreadsheet. And so what in the world would make me see an ad that says business coaches wanted, and suddenly my hands are going, oh, Jesus, here I go. And within a day, I'm now a business coach.
Wow.
And so the point of that is sometimes we get inspiration to take ourselves in places that we in our conscious mind don't understand even the why of. And so the journey was, number one, say yes to what's really calling you. Number two, get lots of support and training. I worked with a few different coaches. I worked as a coach in their company. So I got fabulous training. Like the industry's greatest have their hands on me. Like I really have some great background. But here's what I discovered. Even though I was an expert in, therapy and mindset and all things change and transformation, I couldn't sell my services. I couldn't market my services. While I could coach you, my business kind of sucked because of all the inner stuff. So the things that I teach today, like number one, how to talk about what you do. Number two, the big one, how to own your value. Oh, that was a tough one. Because I had but I was just a therapist. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? People would be like, I get more from coaching with you than those 7-figure people because you were just a therapist, but I couldn't own it. So very often we have, and I'm going to talk about that in my talk today, we have things in our lives and in our past that we view as liabilities or things that would be detrimental when actually they're the thing, if we embrace them and we know how to package that are the greatest gifts we have. So some people in our industry say, oh, I hit a 6-figure business in 7 months. I was on the 7-year plan. I was on the really long, slow, horribly costly plan because I had to figure it out. So I kind of go, wow, the things I got to experience, now I can teach so I can prevent them, my viewers or my clients, from going through kind of some of the ups and downs. So I'm totally the unlikely entrepreneur. Never had an idea of that, but I love it. So I'm really blessed today to have this wonderful business.
I love that story.
Thank
we
you.
all land where we're supposed to. Sometimes it's a bumpy ride, but I believe we all land where we're supposed to. And what you said was super powerful, just to say yes. We do get stuck into, well, I don't know how. Yes, and figure it out later.
Exactly. Yeah, it was crazy. And I don't know why, Carrie, why that one decision, I just was like, oh, I must do it. Because on paper, A, the company shouldn't have hired me, and B, I shouldn't have even done it. But so then I know it's soul or God or spirit or whatever that was moving me forward. And so sometimes you have to bypass the little voices in your head. That's the work I do with people, is teaching you, shh, be quiet, go lay down. That's a huge part of it, because you can't get from here to there listening to the little voices.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how to hack that or flip that switch. And that's a lot of the work that probably you and I do.
Mm-hmm. I think it's Oprah that says, when you're in your tiny mind, and those are those little voices, when you're in your tiny mind, you're doing stupid stuff.
Yes, that's
you're thinking
great.
small. Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a very similar story. I did also work in the corporate world for a business coaching company. And interestingly enough, I was working I had started up a company here in Las Vegas in 2009 in digital marketing. And this business coach, who is the CEO of the largest coaching organization in the world, they're in 66 countries, he was a client of mine. We were doing digital marketing. And then he needed a publicist and someone to help run and grow his company. And I just remember texting him going, why not me? Or I'm like, like you're like, and I was at a stoplight. God forbid, don't be texting at stoplights. But I'm like, you could feel that. Who are you to ask to jump into this play field? But then you're like, he goes, send me your resume. I'm like, oh, what did I just do? So I can create, and it just evolved like wildfire after that. So working for that global organization for 5 years in the business coaching world, and then of course I jumped ship 3 years ago. But still, it's like, it's all meant to be.
Point number 1, say yes, right?
Yes.
Say
even when you're like, what the heck are you thinking? The little devil on your shoulder.
Absolutely.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. So let's dive into marketing, because it's my favorite place to play. I see so many beautiful people out there that are hidden gems. That's what I think of, because they're not even putting themselves out there, but they've mastered their craft really well. And then there's those that haven't mastered their craft at all that are really, really good at marketing. Isn't that sad to see? You're like, there's no balance here. I'm not getting what I thought I was getting.
I know. Yeah.
So how important do you think marketing is in the business world?
Well, I think the right marketing is really important, because you can do schlocky marketing that is just going to shoot you in the foot. So it's the right marketing, listening to the right mentor about marketing. And so it's huge, huge, huge. But if you don't do it the right way, it won't work.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what strategies do you use the most in your business? What's worked for you and so on and your clients?
Yeah. So a couple things. The number one thing I always get my clients, now I will joke and say, I don't leave the house. I mean, I sometimes do leave the house, but I don't do a lot of local networking. I recently started a meetup group here in Phoenix, but I've gotten pretty much all my business from speaking. So I do like this stuff, summits, live events, but I do speaking, and that's my best funnel. So some people say you should network and join chambers or other groups. That's,
everyone's got their thing.
Pajamas all day, I just like to hang out at my house. So for me, speaking has been really, really, really good.
I love that.
And the second part is not just, let me back up. What I do is I be me. I just be me. So authenticity, being real, being vulnerable. When I have something in my life, I share it freely. So I don't hide behind, this is the persona of the business coach. This is real Therese. They're the same. And so I think my being genuine is also very attractive to the right people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I like that you do speaking, because it shows off who you are as a person, by all means. Not everybody's brave enough to do speaking.
Yes.
Some are like, oh, here's my graphic.
Yeah. There we go.
Just click there. But don't look at me.
We call those visibility issues. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I have clients that have great, email lists, but I can't get them to play in social media, or I feel like I'm dragging them out of a closet, kicking and screaming. So I always say, if you want to be known, you've got to be seen. So, that's just it. And you get to show your yummy side. I mean, nothing's better than speaking or video. Everyone gets to see who you truly are. It's way more than a graphic.
100%. Well, I think what's different too is with this advent of how things are now in social media, you and I started about the same time. And I remember, Allie Brown, she was the easing queen, and it was like, oh, you have a newsletter? Oh, like you were a freaking rock star. If you had a newsletter, oh, good Lord. And now it's not enough. Like people want to see you, feel you, capture you, get the essence of you. And with all the Facebook Lives and Snapchat and everything else that's happening, you're going to miss the boat if you don't present, if you can't,
Mhm.
so it's kind of like suck it up, like put a little mama bear on your ass here. You
That's right.
So
I
yeah.
love that. That's right. We'll get you guys. Yeah. No one, it's not even about you. It's the message. So when you take yourself out of the equation, the fear goes away anyway. Whenever I get asked to speak for a split second, I'll go into which talk should I do? Then I'm like, wait, which one will they need? What feels good to flow through them? What's going to flow through me? I love using the talk or the saying that Marianne Williamson says, God's the water, I'm just the faucet, and just what gets to flow through me today.
Love that.
And that changes everything. Then you're not worried about, do I have the right shoes?
Exactly.
Does this outfit look okay? Nobody cares.
Does this talk make my butt look big? No, I know. One thing I tell my clients, because I teach selling, and especially women that are service-based business owners, visibility and selling, asking for your worth, that's where you get kicked, right?
Yeah.
And so what I say is, if you're in the transactional piece of like, I charge X for this much, or, oh my gosh, how could I ask this per hour or month? That's transactional. That's always about you, and your little gremlins are just going to eat you for lunch. But I say, there is somebody that's literally praying for you. There's somebody sitting in their house, maybe ready to stick a gun to their head, or just suffering to some degree, and they have literally been praying for you, the solution. So how dare you be small? How dare you but I'd be scared. And so if you can get past the transactional, like, I can't charge this, and go to, how could I help them? What transformation is possible? So to me, and this is where I get a little bit like a preacher, that's part of my preacher mode.
Yes.
You have to be willing to walk through fire for those people, that one person that for whom you have the resources. Get off your ass, manage your mindset, get and do it, because that's our job. Like, when you're given this mission, if you're a soul-based business owner, like I'm sure you're attracting, you got to do the work to be the steward of what you're supposed to do. So make it about them.
Yes. Boy, doesn't that take the pressure off of us? And then it opens just your heart. You just get to play in the space.
Yeah,
of love.
Absolutely.
In 2013, I hired my first online business mentor and was doing the juggle act, working in corporate, but building that next step, the exit strategy. And I'll never forget sitting in my mastermind with my coach at the time. And she said, it's up to you to practice your role, your enrollment calls, which sales, whatever you want to call it. Because that person, you're going to change their whole life. And if you don't practice that one little bridge, that person could wander off and not get the help they ever needed. I started to cry thinking, thank you, God, that my own coach practiced her shit, because that's what got me involved. And to this day, now I get to be, stay-at-home mom again in my head, and enjoy the freedom-based lifestyle once again. And that empowerment. I love that you teach sales, because that was the part that you had the challenge in. That's the best.
100%. See, we're giving stuff that was a gift.
That's right. Master this so you can teach others how to master it. Mm-hmm. Very yummy. Very yummy. So let's talk about that authentic marketing. There's a lot of copycatting out there. There's a lot of noise, like you said. Having an e-zine or newsletter isn't enough. You've got to really connect. And thank you, God, for these beautiful technologies, reaching stuff I wanted to do years ago is now catching up.
Right.
I mean, I have clients in 11 different countries. It's such a beautiful spread to be able to touch people. And I really, truly believe video is the best way to connect outside of getting on a plane. Right. So let's talk about the authentic part. I love that you go inward. And I love to do this with clients too. Got to go inward before we build outward. You got to really know who you are first. Mm-hmm. Talk about like some of the tips you can give our audience about those steps.
Well, about marketing or mindset, because I could go either direction or both. So let me talk about marketing. Marketing, right? So marketing is not that hard, really. I mean, I don't mean to diminish anybody's work, but it's just getting people in front of you. Like that's, how can I get people in front of me to know me, like me, trust me? So then I invite them to, that's, in theory, it's very easy. But the hard part is who you be. Now, what happens very often is, marketing and mindset to me are, marketing, messaging, and mindset are all tied in. And mindset is at the bottom of all of it. Because there's a difference between being visible and being seen. A lot of people put a bunch of schlock on social media, but you're like, I don't know you. Like, I can't feel you, right? And so that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is but I have to serve everybody. And I could, now when you're new, you don't know, right? We all like, we used to say, like, do you have a pulse? Cool. And a credit card?
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching, I could work with you. But there's very often that like, maybe you haven't been in business long enough to be able to narrow and to go, oh no, this is my little slice. So sometimes it's just the beginner, unexperienced or inexperienced piece that's like making the wrong choices. But very often there's such fear around like standing in your little space. Like my story, I started off as a marketing strategist. And Carrie, it was because it was safe. Like back in 2005, we didn't have people talking about mindset, right? We didn't. It was pretty hardcore businessy, do it like the big boys do. And it's a different world 10 years later. And so what happens is, what I consider inner marketing is giving yourself permission to do what you really, 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 really want to do. So there's now that could sell, but what's in my heart to do? What has my life prepared me for? What have I overcome? What just pisses me off that I want to be a stand for? Like, you see, I mean, there's so many questions that you have to dive in beyond who's your target, what problems do you solve for them?
Right.
And so it's really doing that deep, deep, deep inquiry. Number one, doing the inquiry. Number two, then finding the mindset places in you where you're like, I couldn't say that. I couldn't, what? Who, me? Because what I know, I have this concept called your brilliance lives in your blind spot. Like when I came out of coaching school, I literally was apologizing. And the people that were, thank God, in my coach training, they all were from corporate. And so they would say, you are more qualified than any of us. Like, what the f is wrong with you? Like, do you not? But I couldn't get it because I was comparing. I was like, not enough. I had that whole shame thing going on. And so then you have to work your mindset piece of it. And then the third piece of it, this is what I do, is you have to embody it. So something to say, oh yeah, I can sell that, or I'm at that. You have to, I do, muscle testing or pendulum.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I do. I hold up my pendulum like, you're not it.
Awesome.
I'm like, yes, no, yes, no. And so if you don't know what that means, guys, muscle testing is, are you in resonance? Is that true for you? And so I could create a fabulous strategy for somebody, but if there's a part of you, and it's usually unconscious, that is like, oh, hell no, you're not having that. You're not going to get it. So it's not enough to have a great strategy. It's not enough even to know what you want to sell. You have to be what I call in resonance with it. And so that's the work I do, is making sure there's no part of you that's going to kick that out because you're like, because maybe your grandmother suffered and you have to think suffer, you know what I mean? Or maybe women can't make that much money. So why do I ask? There's so many factors that really influence you that you're not even aware of. So it's a lot of work on the inside.
Yes. You're so correct. I might have one client that's like, okay, raise my prices. All right, that sounds good. And she'll go and ask it and they'll close them like crazy. I'm like, wow.
That's the exception. Yeah, that doesn't usually happen.
I'm like, I will find where you get tripped up one of these days. There's something somewhere.
Yep.
She's so brilliant at it. Like, yep, close it, done. No thoughts about it.
Cool. Yeah.
Like she doesn't have any attachment to the numbers or whatever.
Yeah,
she just wants to help
really
people.
Nice.
But most of us do. And like you said, yes, those little stories come into play. Well, this was too easy. Maybe I charged too much. Exactly. And then as women, we like, well, let me throw in a gift basket and everything else too, because we just want to give.
Oh my God. You're preaching to the choir. Yes. Yeah. Well, it's really weird, Carrie. I don't know why, but it's still so suspect. Like it's too easy that's not right. And it's like, duh, it's the opposite. The thing that is so like, I could do this all day. I could do it in my sleep. That's what you should be paid really handsomely for, because that's God's gift to you. Like that's your work. We have the little Puritan John Wayne people running around going, work.
You're perfectly said. And we do have it backwards, where it wasn't hard. It wasn't laborious. Work must be hard. Getting money should be struggle.
Yes.
All those old beliefs, parent beliefs, ancestors, past lives, whatever. And you're like bringing that with you into this life, and it's holding you back. Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's the stuff that brings you joy. That's the price tag part.
It's
stuff you do for free. Yeah.
Yummy. And it's not even a business. It's just like for example, I had a couple deaths recently. And what happened for me is when that occurred, I just was real. I just was like, guys, this is what's going on. And I had I had hundreds of messages. My clients would stop and like reach out to me. Like, so it's not like I'm here doing things to my clients like I was when I was a psychotherapist, because you have to be like distant and have no, neutrality and all that. But you can really create relationships with people that, like, when I hang up, my clients were like, love you. I love you too.
I know, right?
It's so freaking yum. If you want that, like, some people are like, oh, good Lord, I wouldn't want that. But if you desire, if you're a relational person, when you are just real, you attract freaking amazing people that like, these people are like my friends. Like, it's wonderful. You know that. You get the same thing.
Once you have a client, it's like family. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Letting me know when they're in Vegas, we're hanging out. Just,
exactly.
And at first I had a hard time going, well, can I balance? This is supposed to be business, but I'm not your best friend. I want you to respect me. It's that silly dance that you kind of play. But I call them all sister, you know, like I have 3 sisters, like I need one more, but it's just, I get to be on the path with them. That's the fun part. I get to be the guide from the side. I get to be involved in their journey for a short time. If we work together for a short time and then they go away. I had a client from 3 years ago fly in from Ireland just 2 weekends ago, cleared my schedule so we could, you know, she was here for Tony Robbins' event. So of course I'm going to like squeeze in a little bit of time that she had available to just give her a squeeze, you know, just hang out with her and make the most of it. Because you're like family for life. And that's when you know you did it right. Because it's always the relationship first.
Exactly.
The relationship first.
Feels just,
yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I love that. Love that. So you're the speaker. I'm like you. I love to speak too. It's as a child, it was shut up and sit down. Too much.
What? I think, how many of us in our space were told like, God, you're so intense. You're so much. Like we're kind of wounded. At least I'll speak for me. Like there's a lot of the women that I deal with were wounded in that. And so there is this unconscious, like tyrannical
Yes.
And now we're on the internet and it's like, come on, bring it. And there's kind of like a wait, you know, so a lot of people have quote visibility issues. That's why.
Right.
So you bring it, sister.
That's right.
Bring your too muchness.
I know. Definitely. 1 of 5 kids, I blame it on just trying to get heard, you know, get in the line. Hello, number 4 kid here needs to be fed. What about me? I've always been animated. You know, I did 3 years of theater. My very first gig, technically I was 9 months old. My parents were in a live nativity set. I'm a pastor's kid. So I was baby Jesus. So, hey, that was my first role.
Okay. I think you should put that in a bio somewhere. That's a good one. I would use that.
My mom jokes about that to this day. Well, it's our fault. We put you on stage so early.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's wonderful.
It's all good stuff. And that's, again, I have that same challenge, the gas pedal on, but the emergency brake still up. I still hear you're too loud, you're too much, you're too bubbly. Go over there.
I know.
Well, that's what we get paid to do now.
Part of it's your family, but it's also cultural. Like we literally swim in the cultural suppression of women. You know, I'm over 50 and, you know, like, thank God for Oprahs in the world, but I had June Cleaver. I had like, no, you take the last brownie. And I'm like, oh, good Lord.
Right.
With my kids, I'm like, don't touch the brownie.
That's right. You get the burnt toast, Mom.
There we go.
You take the last. Yep.
Yeah. So I think there's so many influences with women that just do this, that it's doubly more difficult. It's doubly hard. Did I even say that right? So it's hard enough to market yourself, but then you have this thing always like this fight to get
too
it.
Much. You're too much. You're too much. I hear those voices.
Yep.
And I love supporting my clients and I'll get them on television. I'm doing all this publicity fun stuff. And I'm like, Carrie Lynn, what are you doing? It's just that you're supposed to be in the spotlight too. You need to be leading by example. And so you get stuck in supporter mode as the coach. And sometimes you forget, oh yeah, I have dreams and goals too. Why am I not doing that? And it's a great reflection in the mirror sometimes to see a client do that. And you're like, and it does just kind of like remind you, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing that too. I need to get on a stage more often. What the heck's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Our clients sometimes are good teachers for us too. We learn a lot from them. It does go both ways.
That's
for
true.
Sure. For sure. So back to authenticity real quick before we jump into your free offer. You talked about being vulnerable, talking about past hurts. I found that is when we show our humanness, and I know that's not a word, but it is today. That's when people really jump forward. My dad had a horrible accident last fall. I never got so many people checking in with me. Prayer, is he okay? Is he getting out of his coma? People I don't even know from the UK that are messaging me, I want to get on a call with you and pray and send energy.
Yeah.
And you're like, where have you got, who are you guys? All this time
Yeah.
you've been watching. They just wanted permission to step in and be a
Yeah.
human with you.
Right.
So that's a beautiful space.
Yeah. A lot of people, when I first started getting involved in coaching people on Facebook, they'd say, does anybody really care that I ate Mexican food? And does anybody really want to see a picture of my kid? And I say, yes, there are people that really do. Because on one hand, we're so disconnected. Like I told you, I don't go out networking. I kind of live in my house and I see kids occasionally. And we don't have offices to go to be a part of.
Right.
And so we unite this way. I had an experience a few years ago. My son had a massive blowout fracture. He took an elbow when he was playing basketball. I was out of town at an event, and the next day he had to have major facial reconstruction. So that's not the time to I've got to market. I've got to get that email, So I just said to my list, hey, by the way, I had a thing happen. Here's a picture of John. If you could just say some prayers. The very next day, one of those, requests for coaching things from the web form came through. And this woman said, the way you wrote about your son, I realized who you were. Your values shone through that so clearly. So I want to hire you. So I made thousands of dollars, not even trying. I wasn't marketing. I was just being the open-hearted person that these are my values. This is my brand. And now some people are like, I'm not going to tell people that. That's fine. You can still be very authentic without going, and here's a trauma, and here's whatever came. I mean, my friend, I don't know if you know Michelle P.W. She's a dear, dear, dear friend of mine. She's a copywriter. She, for years, used her dog. Her dog was a huge part of her business and her branding, and, her dog had columns in her blogs. She's not to be now she can be in her business. Yeah. So you can use a pet. You can use quirky things. You can use hobbies. There's all kinds of things. But you got to just get out of I am here to market to you. You have to show you and what's fun about you.
Right.
Or what's quirky about you. Or I love the question, what freaking pisses you off? That's this industry specific. You could build a whole business. And I'm not saying to be a mean girl. You never point fingers. But don't be afraid to polarize. Don't be afraid to say, that kind of sucks. And I don't want to do that for you. This is what you need. But we get afraid of oh, can I really say that? Well, you have to say that because your right people can't find you unless you're going,
right.
Right.
So. If you have that kind of catch in your throat, oh, should I do this? You probably should.
You should do it.
And you usually know which one post is going to get the most attention because your heart's beating a mile a minute. Oh God, here it goes.
Well, years ago, and sometimes in the beginning, either you can't see it, it's too scary, or you don't. Sometimes it's hard to. You've probably done like I am reinvention. I'm okay, 7.9. Here we are.
Yes.
Because our souls are always evolving us, right? Yes. But when I really moved that beginning from the marketing strategist, I pulled together 4 other girlfriends and we had a business mastermind. And so we fly to some city and they kicked my ass. I'm like, what? I submitted myself okay, guys. And they just said, why the hell are you saying marketing? You have to stop that. Yes, you're good, but you don't even see the brilliance that you are. So sometimes we don't even see it. We have to have others show it to us. Your thing is that. Why the heck? This is chickening out. This is just picking safe. And seriously, if you can submit to a good butt kicking from either girlfriends or masterminds or a mentor, that will elevate you more than anything. Because Carrie, on your own, it's very hard to, put, I don't think you can do it. I don't think messaging can be done by yourself. It's like birthing a baby. I guess you could just drop it out, but usually you need a midwife. You need somebody to help you.
Yes.
And so it's having that supportive the person or people in your life that's come on, stop playing small, come on. That's what you really need.
Yep. They're the high octane fuel that you need to really rocket boost, just kind of give you that boost. Because it is, if you're only relying on your own motivation every day, some days you're like, not today.
There's a lot of good reality shows that you could watch.
I know, right?
Really?
I think I need a Netflix binge.
Yeah. I getcha.
It's true. It's seeing results that inspires me. It's just beautiful. And, my family's beautiful and they're all 2,000 miles away, but, having mom and dad as your cheerleaders, and I have to watch my own F-bombs now that dad kind of watches more, but now she's showing him Facebook posts and videos. It's like, I was all in until I started hearing swear words. I don't remember raising you to say. You're like, I'm 43 years old, you guys.
Yeah. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a big girl daddy.
That's another thing. Like I give myself permission to like let some little F-bombs fly. And I've actually had people say, I hired you because you swear.
Yeah.
And now I've had people say, oh, good Lord, why are you swearing? That's horrible.
I know. I hear
Your right people will find you. And the message is, don't be something you're not. Don't try to pretend, and don't hide. So it's that like cool space in the middle.
Yeah. If you're censoring yourself all the time, maybe you're not being as real with your clients. It just kind of shows some shady character. So just be real. Let it happen. Doesn't have to be every other word, but
Right. Yeah.
When it's supposed to slip out.
That's right.
You gotta love it when you get a delivery at this time of day. The joys of working from home.
There we go. Yeah.
Or a solicitor. Gotta love that. Hey, your dog's been peaceful.
I know. Shocking. I wasn't sure how it would go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I want to dive right into what you've got for these guys, because it's total alignment with what we just talked about, which is epic and amazing. So tell us our free offer that you have.
I'm excited about this. So it's called the Inner Marketing ebook. Inner marketing is what you have to do before you actually start marketing. Now, everybody knows, who's your target market, what problems do you solve, blah, 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 right? That stuff is, you can figure that out in your head. And the question I always pose, Carrie, is imagine if there was 100 of your competitors in the room. Why should somebody pick you? Because from a consumer perspective, like we're both business coaches. We're all going to be like,
yeah,
oh, I love her hair. I pick her because she's so pretty. And, Therese swears, I love that. Oh, she sings karaoke. How freaking cool is that? Right? So what we do is what you have to understand is particularly women buyers, especially the ones that are more relationally led, are not going to pick you because everybody, like a web designer, it's a commodity. You get a website. A business coach, you earn more money. A chiropractor, you da-da-da. Yeah. We all do the same stuff, right? And so most of us, our taglines, our 30-second commercials, our marketing is just like wah, 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 wah. Like just plug and play. It sounds like everybody else. So this is designed to teach you. I have these 4 questions, like what have you overcome? What pisses you off? What would you take a stand for? And what's kind of quirky about you? So that's one of the places to find like a kaleidoscope of like, if you answer those.
I just answered them all in my head.
I'll give you an example. I was doing marketing for a woman who was a home stager, and she was young. She was like 28. And so we were dealing with God, am I old enough to have credibility? So her name was Jennifer. So I said, and I'm super intuitive. So I said, was there ever like time, like when you were in like kindergarten that like you were organizing? And she's like, it's funny you should ask, because when I was in 1st grade, I actually marched into the kindergarten classroom and yelled at all the children because their shoes were out of alignment, and I organized them all in the little cubbies. And I said, boom, that story goes on your about page. And I want a picture of you in kindergarten. And so we were marketing. She was doing a postcard mailing to drive to something. And it was so cool because she said she got more calls than she ever has because of that little kindergarten picture. And people said, I picked up the phone because that was such a cool story. She actually got 2 or 3 big clients. That's an example of when you put your personality in a fun, viable, relatable way that you don't who's going to put a kindergarten picture? Nobody thinks that way. But when you make it that way, it's just like, you stand out. And that's my goal for you, is to stand out. So
okay, I'm putting the baby Jesus thing on my file. Who knew baby Jesus was a girl?
Tiny baby Jesus. I know. Let's pretend you for a moment here. Let's see. For 42 years, I have been a freaking savior. No.
That's right. You didn't know he looked like this. I came back.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So it's called the Inner Marketing ebook. It's 30 to 40 pages, and it's really workbookish. So you go in and you do the exercises, and it really shows you the mindset and how you talk about it. So it's pretty comprehensive.
I love that.
Thank you.
Got the link below for everybody. You guys grab your copy. That's great, because you do have to go inward before you go outward. And Theresa's got this amazing way to do that. All your clues are in there. We are our own inner psychic. If we just stop and get quiet for a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, get your favorite drink, curl up, go inward. I love that time. It's so precious to me. I schedule my God time every morning. It's like, oh, this is my time. Nobody interrupt. This is our time. This is where I get my answers.
Oh, that's nice. Good for you. Yeah, good for you.
I always say prayer is when we're asking for help. Meditation is when you hear the answer. And most of us never get quiet and listen for the answers. We're just like
Or
yelling out their directions all the time.
if we hear it, then following that is because our brain is really wired to keep us safe.
Yeah.
And so you could get the answer, but then the brain's like, oh my God, but that's going to be so hard. How are we going to do that? And it literally is just cave days. We're waiting for the thing to jump out and grab us.
Yeah.
And so our brain is going to pump out like, well, that could go wrong, and that's going to not work, just to keep us safe. And so I teach my clients like, shh, your brain's not your friend. Shh, don't listen. Shh, like, okay, shh, listen to that knowing.
Yeah.
That other voice or that other sense that's like, this is right for you, and just shh, go lay down.
Yep. I like to use the word gremlin. I'm going to start using that. Don't feed those gremlins.
Don't feed them. That's right.
Don't get them wet. Don't feed them after midnight.
That's good.
Yeah. They'll multiply. God help us.
Yeah. Oh, they do. They do. Yeah.
So true. Yes. That knowing comes, and then that's when we doubt it and push it away. Mm-hmm. Well, that's dumb. I don't do that. No, I'm not good enough. Love it. Any final thoughts before we wrap up our session today?
So here's what I always tell people. If you have this vision in you, if you have the thing, because I don't think it's really hard to be a business owner. It really is. Yeah. It's easier to have security and have a job and all that. But if you have the thing in you that it's yours to do, know that the way is also there to do. Like to me, the entrepreneurial journey is a spiritual path. Yes. You were given this for a reason. And I just was like, okay, God, pony it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like yep. It has to come true. Now it might look like very zigzaggy and you might feel like you're off course sometimes, but you focus on, there's no other option for this, that it has to happen. And so just trust the thing in you that wants to be birthed in you. And you don't have to know the how, but just like, okay, saying yes, what's next? What's next?
Yep, exactly.
Just start becoming aware of like the little clues, and just follow the little tiny guidance and quiet the voices that just say, well, you don't have a 5-year strategic plan. Blah, 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 blah. Shh, you don't need it. You need the next step. So
true. The next puzzle piece, one at a time. That's all we're going to give you anyway. You got to reach for it though, before you get the next one.
And then be the person that can get to play with the puzzle, right?
That's right.
Who you become.
Right. It's true. If God's going to lead you to it, he'll lead you through it. He's not going to go, oh, you got this vision. Sorry, you don't get the blueprint. So sorry. Game plan. Let's burn it. It's a fun joke.
Yeah, we're just punking you here.
That's right.
It's not going to happen. It's going to happen that way. That's cool.
I love it. I launched a speaking agency this year, and it started in January with just one little push. You need to do this, Carrie. You need to do this. And I've just been following next thing you know, I've got 15 speakers I'm representing and closing speaking deals. It's like, and again, I felt like I've been blindfolded the whole dang time. And trust me, the gremlins are talking, but sometimes I shut them up and put them to bed. But for the most part, it's like, well, and then you wake up and you're like, wow, if I would have doubted it back in January, we wouldn't have this full blown agency, another corporation I'm opening up, and all this other yumminess that I get to play in.
Good for you. I didn't know that was part of it. That's very cool.
Yeah. I kind of went like this. It's still the same, I just, my tagline's, helping public figures be seen online and on the stage. So it's like,
nice. Love it.
It's a win-win. I get to play in both arenas that I love so much. So it's good stuff.
Cool. Tiny baby Jesus, little blonde baby Jesus. There you go. Yeah, see?
You really helped me. I'm totally putting that on my website.
Seriously. Add it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. My poor parents. We'll be the live nativity scene. She's Mary, she's Joseph, but we only got a baby girl, so we'll just swaddle her real good.
There you go, like pull hair back. And
That's right. Yeah. You'll never know.
That's funny.
So good. So delightful having you today. Thank you so much for this fun, impactful interview. Yeah. It's been a blast, and I know our audience has gotten a ton of good insight from you today. So thank you so much, Therese.
Lovely to hang out with you. You're fabulous as well. So
Thank you. Big hugs, everybody. Till next time. Bye-bye.